I really like and respect the brand MIDO for the following reasons. Great history, great achievements throughout this history, iconic models, well established, good quality and even better prices. And a great example for all this is the brand new MIDO Ocean Star Worldtimer with a retro design in black, white and red. So let's begin with the basic specifications. Our Worldtimer is an automatic watch with a case diameter of 40.5 mm, a length lug to lug of 47 and a height of 13.4 mm. Lug width is 21. The watch is equipped with a sapphire crystal, a screw-down crown and it is waterproof up to 200 meters. The bezel works bidirectional and has a black aluminium insert. Inside is the caliber 80, so basically an ETA C07621, ticking at a beat rate of 21,600. It provides date and day and a power reserve of 80 hours. The watch comes on a leather strap with an additional Bund strap base and the price is indicated with 990 euros including VAT or 1,070 US dollars without VAT. So let's begin with the dial. It's a reference to the 70s and it really makes the watch. Very bold design with these red blocks, which represent super legible indices, but they also remind me of space exploration, believe it or not. Because you could see these colors and these blocks on early rockets in the 40s, 50s, 60s. People often think about it as something sinister connected to the V2 and Nazi iconography. But in fact this pattern had a function. It made it possible for high-speed cameras and observers to clearly see the rotation, inclination and movement of the rocket. Here are some historic examples. And I just love that MIDO brings this bold pattern in combination with a bezel that shows these GMT cities, the time zones. So we have space exploration, the globe, and at the end a super robust tool watch. Also worth mentioning is the case form, very streamlined with sharp crown guards and beveled lugs. The entire thing resembles the MIDO starfish that you find here on the Caseback. And all these beveled edges, all these facets on the case, they are in fact a reduction of material and weight. These elements make sure that the watch is more lightweight and streamlined as the spec sheet suggests. 40.4 mm case diameter is rather big for a reissue from the 70s, and people will criticize this, but we have to see that the ring with the GMT cities needs some space. Also the date and day window. The dial alone is rather modest in size. And now one word about the strap. Black leather with red stitching, which I find okay, but the Bund strap base is in my eyes too much. That might be taste, but we have to see that it adds easily 2 mm to the watch and then you have that 16 mm high block on the wrist. What I also find quirky is the 21 mm lug width. I bet they did this to maintain the streamline, the transition from watch case over lugs into the strap. They wanted to avoid a large step there, but it is of course very hard now to find a good replacement strap. And I could imagine that one gets tired of the red contrast stitching, to be honest, which is a common phenomenon. Okay, last point should be the price. 990 euros for a decent brand, killer specs and a design that stands out. Very competitive, very realistic in my humble opinion. And now a special tip at the end. Check out the vintage MIDO Ocean Star Dato Day. It was produced from the 60s on with the goal of water resistance. They didn't use a screw down crown back then, but a cork sealing that swells on contact with moisture. And that's the reason why you find a ton of MIDO watches from the 60s on eBay in great condition. Big supply, modest prices and therefore worth a closer look. A review with such a watch you find in the upper right corner now. And that's all for this episode. Thank you very much and see you next Monday to Watch of the Week.